Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies. Welcome to some of the best video game soundtrack on the market. No, not War Thunder Hangar music today. I'm actually listening to some of the Doom 2016 OST in the background. And if you've been following the channel, you know what clip is about to happen. We're in the German version of the M41 with a cannon that is capable, once you've unlocked some things, of firing Heat FS. And the music is going to get a little bit loud here, and then we'll skip ahead to a later, well, I'll probably just turn the music down a bit. But enjoy this. This is just what I was listening to while I was playing, by the way. Wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah, that got me pumped pretty well. But we're about to get pumped full of, I think, APDS. Not sure. I think it's another enemy bulldog that's going to take us down. The American version. And yet our goal is not to do well in Das Deutsches Volk M41, but instead, can we get a cannon barrel? Even, excuse me, APCR, do you mind? You saw that, right? You saw that? Ladies and gentlemen, the only round of any report available to the German M41 at the beginning of its stock grind. Gaijin, you bastards. Anyway, kind of considering taking out the Tiger 2P just so that I know I'll have a good time, but I really do want to get into the AG-162 Salamander today, and yet Fate has a little something different planned for us today, and I think you'll be satisfied with what eventually comes to pass in this match. But for now, the Befehlswagen Jagdpanther, one of the biggest wastes of money in War Thunder, as this has no improvement over the ordinary Jagdpanther, which is itself not a terrible, let's call it, medium tank destroyer, but certainly a vehicle that has been power creeped hard in War Thunder, with drastically improved mobility compared to the Ferdinand, and yet significantly less reliable survivability. It is nonetheless a somewhat well armored tank destroyer with fairly poor gun handling for its tier, albeit sporting the reliable long 75 Panzerabwehrkanone found. Yeah, you like mein Deutsche, but it's the same gun as the Panther, essentially, and its reliability is well known in the game of War Thunder. The Jagdpanther, suffering the same general weaknesses as the Panther, with just enough reliability in its armor, I suppose, to warrant the 6.3 battle rating, making it one of the few tank destroyer variants that actually has a higher battle rating than its tank counterpart, which I'm not entirely sure the Jagdpanther would be inappropriate at 6.0, but you know what, I could be missing something, and in any event, it is a good vehicle either way. Sort of struggling to get a good shot on that T-34-85, and again, our hope is that we can harvest just enough points to get into an aircraft. And yet, you can see I have a fairly well set up lineup here. So why is the Jagdpanther Befehlswagen or switcheroo those words, if you please. Why is the Befehlswagen Jagdpanther a waste of money? Well, it's just a Jagdpanther with slightly improved rewards, and the Jagdpanther is probably not the best choice for a tank destroyer at this tier in War Thunder. I would go Ferdi for its area denial capability. It's far more powerful cannon, keeping the same good reload rate and having just about the same amount of derp when it comes to getting your freaking gun on freaking target. And with the perpetual M18 and other speedy boys having been added to the game, spam. Speaking of, let's see if we can get a hull break here. Not today. I mean, we just managed to hit the engine, but what even is hull break, am I right? Another shot, straight into the engine. Nada limonada que hace el pez. Anyway, we do eventually actually burn him down and get the kill. One kill, couple of shots bounced. We were just a whiff away from having enough spawn points for an aircraft previously, so maybe this will push us over the top. Definitely too aggressive of gameplay here in the Jagdpanther, but I just kind of, I mean, come on, I had Mick Gordon playing in the background. I really just was relaxing and enjoying myself and screwing around. I didn't know this was going to be some clutch Do 335 Danger Pickle gameplay, but that's exactly what this was about to turn into. And with that, we'll shortly be saying goodbye to Mick Gordon, but let's enjoy BFG Squad while we can. And, well, as you see in the chat, there's always these, I tend to call them noob comments for War Thunder, and there's just a lot to know in this game. And it might seem ridiculous that a T-34-85's 85mm cannon can potate its way through your armor, but keep in mind, it is a high-velocity 85mm cannon. Anyway, we don't need to worry about that, because we are a Danger Pickle, and we are about to spread our message of discontent in the skies and on the ground of War Thunder. You can see my absolutely master-crafted Ninja Turtles custom camouflage that I made my very own self. There's a turtle shell texture on the aircraft as well. I really I like this one. I don't always put a decent amount of effort. You can see I alt-Tabitha there so I could actually hear the enemy aircraft. Good call on my part, because he is danger close, thankfully not focusing on me, and I can hear toys being tinkled in my 3-year-old's room. She's supposed to be asleep. Anyway, we'll deal with that later. For now, we're turning in the barrel with a Bearcat. Not a good idea under normal circumstances, but he's focusing on a teammate, so we need to make something happen quickly here. I don't think we're going to manage to save that Kameraden, and yet we do have the energy advantage at this point over the Bearcat, even if the Pickle wobbles like a Pickle Rick when, well, I mean always, it always has bad handling. It used to be, believe it or not, even worse. The rudder on this thing used to be absolute trash, and now it's just hot garbage, so it's a little bit better. Very odd aircraft, extremely powerful arrow of the skies. Technically, I still think the fastest ordinary, for lack of a better word, prop aircraft in the game. And with three MK103 high velocity cannons with the capability to fire APCR that pens, I think, around 90 millimeters, something like that, of armor, easily overpowering top and side armor of enemy vehicles. I generally prefer top-down attacks, but those can be very dangerous in the Danger Pickle DO 335 Aero, especially with this being one of the heavier models of the aircraft, the premium version that again mounts 3 of the Mk103 dream guns that make cannon casts so fun for German aircraft. Add to that the fact that these cannons come stock on the plane and thus do not count as extra ordnance in terms of spawn points. This aircraft being designated I think, air defense fighter, giving it an air spawn, and you can see it is fully capable of taking on ground targets of all kinds, which, as we will continue to demonstrate in this match, is both satisfying on a personal level and useful to our team, considering where to go next and picking up a little bit of speed as we target our second enemy fighter. Now the question is, did he notice us? Will he focus us? And although the odds are no and no, because American casts, there is still the chance that we could have to do the pickle dance with this enemy foe, and yet allies in the air, first off in the form of this ME410 that I've really learned to have a lot more respect for. I don't know if they got a flight model upgrade or they're just better than I thought they were, but a beautiful assist taking down that enemy Corsair, and all is fair in the air once again. Always nice to have air superiority, nervous German laughter knowing that it is a short-lived experience as the clouds decide to part suddenly. Ladies and gentlemen, dynamic weather brought to you by Gaijin Entertainment. And a hail of APCR, APHE, HEIT, and AP rounds coming from the 20s and 30s that bedeck this destroyer of the skies into the lightly armed PT-76. He won't be bothering us anymore. All said and done, we're gonna round out 7 ground kills and 2 air kills in this match, which for me is a very satisfying match, and for my team, no doubt, considered somewhat helpful. This 6-3 Germany match brought to you by Das Deutsches Volk M41 and the DO 335 Premium Danger Pickle, and some very satisfying vertical maneuvers. Look at how the aircraft locks up at high speed. That is nicht good news. When you're ground striking, you really have to get a feel for how this fairly awkward, very heavy aircraft performs, and yet it does have the engine power to engage in sustained vertical maneuvers against ground targets, the most reliable way to get powerful hits on your foes, especially with Mk103s, and not at all a bad way to avoid things like roof-mounted 50 cals. Anyway, a nice quick match in my 6-3 German lineup, defaulting to the 5-7 DO 335 to perform a little bit of mixed martial arts on the enemy. Cannon casts and anti-ground strike operations. Always satisfying. Anyway, hope you enjoyed a little look at the games that I've actually been playing myself, and of course more replays coming in the future. I always look forward to that. Link, as always, in the description to the Discord, where I encourage you to come hang out with all of us here in the Toshio Thunder community, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.